Welcome back to First Take. Wemby became the first unanimous winner of Defensive Player of the Year since the award was first given out in 1982 and 1983. At 22 years old, he also became the youngest player in NBA history to win the award. Since entering the league in 2022, Wemby has led the NBA in blocks per game in each of his first 3 seasons. And so now we ask the question, you got to really dig deep here in the archives. Is Wemby the best defensive player you've ever seen?
I sure don't want my brother KG getting mad at me, but it's facts over feelings. And hell yeah, he's the best defensive player I've ever laid my eyes on. He got my vote this year. He's going to continue to get my vote, and this is the first of many. We could talk one award that's not going anywhere, that's going to be owned by Wemby for the next 5 or 6 years, is going to be Victor Wembanyama. It's his ability at 7'5", 7'6", whatever height he is, to be able to do everything. And when I say everything, if you want him in the drop coverage, in the pick and roll, he does that with the best of them. If you want him to switch out on smaller guards and slide whatever size shoes he wear and get down in the defensive stands, he does that as well. I mean, he's going to lead the league in shot blocking. He's going to go down, if not the greatest shot blocker to ever play the game of basketball. But it's the stat that's out there, and I don't have it off the top of my mind, of teams not driving to the basket. Like, teams do not drive to the basket. They are scared to drive to the basket. In order to beat the Spurs, you got to be able to knock down tough, contested, 3-point shots. Because the reason that they're contested, because of the wings that they have on the perimeter, they're pretty damn good defenders as well. So when you think about Wemby and you think about how young he is and the tenacity, that's another thing. In order to be a defender, a great defender, you got to have a killer mentality. He has that. That smile and that swag he walks in with, don't let that fool you. He has it on his mind. He stands on business, and he is the best defensive player I've ever laid my eyes on.
It's funny, Perk, to your point. Somebody the other night in game 1 got into the lane and thought better and made a U-turn out of the lane. There's no block shot recorded there. It's just a shot that's completely discouraged. Even I am not old enough to have seen the great Mr. Bill Russell. You know, I remember I was 10 years old and I could see that my father wanted me to watch Bill Russell because his defense, he's the greatest defensive player of all time. People I've seen, so since that, that was a long time. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to, Perk, I mean, there have been some great defenders. I mean, and not just Rodman, Draymond, Akeem. And I did see Akeem in his prime all the time. I was around covering the league for that. And I saw Dennis Rodman when he was a menace. Dennis Rodman covered everybody. Dennis Rodman took Shaq out of games. Saw it, was there for it. All right, so we don't want to forget that Dennis Rodman was a nuisance and a menace, and he was great at it in an all-court way. But Dennis Rodman is smaller than you think if you see him in person. Right? 6'7" and a half, maybe 6'8", maybe. You know, wiry, like a marathon runner. Wembanyama, my God, the shots he just blocks, discourages, changes what you're doing offensively and what it is that you think you can do. He takes your confidence early in the game, and you see teams just doing things that are completely out of character. So, man, it looks like I can't imagine. I'm trying to think of who else I even want to put in that conversation. It's a real small list.
It is. And before you go, it's like you think about Ben Wallace, who is
great,
in my eyes, who is the greatest undrafted player to ever play the game of basketball. But we're going to look up, and if Wemby stays healthy, he's going to have 7 to 8 Defensive Player of the Year awards. 7 to 8 of them. Not 4 or 5, not 6 or 7 or 8.
First unanimous defensive player of the year. The cat is 22 years old. That question seemed crazy in the beginning, best defensive player. But then when you really think about it, it's like, wow, actually, that's right on. Do you think Wemby can carry the Spurs to a title this year?
No. And I am captain of Team Wemby. I stop what I'm doing. I don't know that he's going to go on a list for me. My whole life, I feel fortunate. I got to watch Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, and Tiger Woods. That's the list. That's the list of things. I would make up excuses. I would lie and say, I can't get to your wedding. I got to work because I'm watching Tiger on Saturday and I ain't going. All right? So those three people to me were people that defined sport as we know it. There have been others. Those are the three for me. I now am watching Wembanyama with that same early curiosity and fascination. But I don't think the NBA is about despair. Perk knows this. Mm-hmm. He talks about the one title. I was there for other times where he gets a broken something or other and can't play in a game 7. They probably would have won, and he'd have a second one and maybe a third one. So it's about despair. That defines NBA championship pursuit. I don't care who you are except three people. We mentioned Bill Russell already. Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan. Other than that, of the primary players, who didn't have that kind of despair? I know Michael Jordan had it. It took to year 7. We know LeBron had it. It took to year 7. You can still see him walking out of Boston Garden, taking his jersey off. Mm-hmm. The greatest players have despair before they win. As a rule, overwhelming. Do I think that Wembanyama can lead a team past Denver and OKC if it comes to that this year? I know, Perk, I'm close. I'm like close to giving in on my own. You know, you have these rules of thumb that you come to live by because you've been around this stuff for so long. And I'm going to take it, you could go to football too, but the NBA particularly. And I'm putting the brakes on, and I'm saying that either Denver or OKC, and maybe OKC, defending champs, they get him after he come out of a 7-game grueling series with Denver, have that scenario. Is he then going to pick it up and go beat OKC?
Yeah, but he's generational.
He's once in a
so he could, if anyone could do it.
If anyone can, Shay, I don't want to go against history and what I've seen. There are 3 people who've defied it. So he could be the 4th.
Well, I'm gonna continue to stay on. I'm gonna continue to stay on that hill by myself right now, Wilborn. To be honest, and I got the Spurs winning the championship this year. I have them winning the championship, and yes, it's because of the generational talent of Wemby, but it's the others.
Yeah.
Keldon Johnson, who's probably going to win 6th Man of the Year, right? Got a lot of experience, Olympic gold medalist, got some experience with that. He didn't play as much, but learned a lot from all-time greats. When you think about their roster, all they did was go out and duplicate what the Oklahoma City Thunder. They went and got a whole lot of big guards and big wings that could play both sides of the basketball, that could create, that could shoot. You look at a guy like De'Aaron Fox, 6'4", 6'5". We saw what he did in that 2-3 years ago. Him and Steph Curry went toe-to-toe in that 7-game series. Harrison Barnes, champion, bring experience in off the bench. Dylan Harper, he has an old soul. He's been here before. Hell, he's been around winning all his life, right? And then you look at guys like Stephon Castle, who has been a winner, won at UConn, knows how to win, knows how to play with that physicality and that tenacity. Last point, they got a head coach leading the charge in Mitch Johnson, who I voted for as Coach of the Year. The reason I voted for him, and one of the reasons that I got the Spurs pick to win, is because he has got these guys bought in where they play agenda-free basketball and they sacrifice for the betterment of the team. And when I saw them game 1 walk in with all their suits on that Kelly Olynyk's bought, see, people thought it was a fashion statement, but to me, that showed togetherness and that showed chemistry because everybody walked in with their suit on. See, last but not least, let me tell you something. if you know a person and you got love for a person and y'all chemistry is to the highest level off the floor, you're gonna go that extra mile for that person on the floor. And that's what we see right now in
They
San
have a form.
Antonio.
Well, I want to put a point on something with Castle. Castle, to me, and I thought this when they drafted him, Castle is the new Kawhi. And I don't mean play style. I'm talking about just, remember, Kawhi goes and he joins Tim Duncan and Manu and Tony Parker and Pop, and he's practicing in this laboratory of brilliance every day. He's got the demands put on him every day. Castle has that.
Yep.
This is like, it was like Kawhi and back in 2012, 13, 14, and Castle comes and he joins this outfit that has a culture. Most overused word in sports, except San Antonio actually has it. They have a culture. They know what it is they're doing. It's tried and true. And he comes in, and you know what, Perk, I didn't do it. I really wanted to vote Castle third team All-NBA this year. Might it be a little early? Maybe. But he's coming. Yep. He's going to be a great player on his own. And to your point, if those guys can fit, maybe there won't be that despair.
You're
maybe
coming
he
around.
won't. I am coming around.
He's coming around.
I'm coming, but
I think he's on